Menglong case update. The internet erupts. Millions demand the truth. What really happened? The name Menglong is no longer just a celebrity headline. It has become a storm, a mystery, and a movement shaking the entire Chinese internet to its core. What began as whispers has exploded into a nationwide digital uprising. Hashtags are being deleted. Posts are vanishing. Yet the voices, louder than ever. This is not just a story anymore. This is a reckoning. Began quietly. Too quietly. Fans first noticed something strange. No updates, no appearances, no activity. For a public figure like Menglong, known for consistent engagement and high-profile appearances, this silence wasn't normal. Then came the rumors. At first, they were scattered. He's taking a break. Health issues. Private matters. But within days, those whispers transformed into something darker. People weren't just asking where he was. They were asking, why does it feel like something is being hidden? Chinese netizens, known for their sharp investigative instincts, began connecting dots at lightning speed. Old interviews resurfaced. Cryptic posts were reanalyzed. Even minor details were scrutinized frame by frame. Some users claimed sudden deletions of related content, restricted search results on major platforms, accounts discussing the case mysteriously disappearing. And just like that, a digital wildfire ignited. Within hours, a single phrase dominated trending pages. #Justice for Menglong. Millions of posts flooded platforms. Fans, critics, and even neutral observers joined the movement. What made it different? Backhand index pointing right. It wasn't just about a celebrity anymore. Backhand index pointing right. It became about transparency, truth, and trust. People weren't satisfied with vague statements or silence. They wanted answers. And they wanted them now. As official clarity remained absent, theories began to multiply. 1. The cover-up theory. Some believe that key information is being intentionally withheld. Too many inconsistencies, users claim. Too many things don't add up. 2. The industry conflict angle. Others suggest internal disputes within the entertainment industry. Power struggles. Contracts. Hidden pressures. Could Menglong have been caught in something bigger? 3. The final message mystery. One of the most chilling elements. Alleged cryptic messages believed to be linked to him before his disappearance. Fans dissect every word, every emoji, every timestamp. Was he trying to say something? Or warn someone? Perhaps the most explosive element in this entire saga. Content suppression. Users report. Posts disappearing within minutes. Keywords becoming unsearchable. Entire discussions wiped clean. And here's the twist. Backhand index pointing right. The more content gets removed. Backhand index pointing right. The more people believe something big is being hidden. It's a paradox that has only intensified the outrage. Despite everything, Menglong's fanbase has remained relentless. They've organized online vigils, coordinated hashtag campaigns, international awareness threads. Some fans describe it as not just support, but a duty. A duty to ensure that his story, whatever it may be, is not erased. What started in China is now spilling across borders. International audiences are picking up the story. YouTube creators are analyzing timelines. Online forums are debating possibilities. And one question echoes worldwide. Why is there still no clear answer? This case has evolved into something much deeper. It's no longer just about Menglong. It's about the power of online voices, the limits of information control, the collective demand for truth in the digital age. Because when millions of people start asking questions, silence becomes the loudest answer of all. Right now, the world watches and waits. Will there be an official statement? Will new evidence surface? Or will the mystery deepen even further? One thing is certain. Backhand index pointing right. This story is far from over. Backhand index pointing right. The pressure is only increasing. Backhand index pointing right, and the truth whatever it is, cannot stay hidden forever. The storm surrounding Yu Menglong didn't just grow, it escalated. Because suddenly, this wasn't about rumors anymore. Backhand index pointing right, this was about evidence. Backhand index pointing right, clues people couldn't ignore. Backhand index pointing right, and a timeline that made absolutely no sense. Let's go straight to the parts that shook everyone. Online investigators reconstructed his last known days, and what they found raised serious questions. Last public appearance. Yu Menglong appeared calm, composed, normal. No visible signs of distress. A sudden silence, within 24 to 48 hours. No post, no activity, no explanation. A delayed, official information. Reports alleged surfaced late and lacked detail. Backhand index pointing right, the timing doesn't match. Fans noticed gaps between events. Contradictory claims from different sources. Missing hours. Even days unaccounted for. And that led to one viral question. What happened during the missing time? One of the most talked about discoveries. Backhand index pointing right, his final online presence. Screenshots, widely circulated though unverified, allegedly show unusual activity patterns. Messages that seemed out of character. A timing that didn't align with the official narrative. Some fans claim it didn't feel like him typing. That single idea changed everything. Then came the leaks, documents, chat logs, anonymous posts. No one could fully verify them, but that didn't stop them from spreading like wildfire. Collision, what they allegedly revealed. Internal tensions within entertainment circles. A sudden, urgent meetings before his disappearance. Mentions of pressure, conflict, and control. Backhand index pointing right, some leaks contradict each other. Backhand index pointing right, some appear edited or incomplete. Backhand index pointing right, others vanish shortly after appearing. Which raises a chilling possibility. Is someone leaking fragments, but hiding the full truth? This is where things get even more intense. Fans began revisiting everything Yu Menglong had said in the past weeks. And they found things that now feel different. Vague captions with emotional undertones. Interviews where he hesitated before answering. Lines that now seem like hidden messages. He was trying to say something but couldn't say it directly. Whether true or not, this theory has gripped millions. Because once people start seeing patterns, they can't unsee them. Just when discussions reached peak intensity, things started vanishing. Backhand index pointing right, entire threads. Gone. Backhand index pointing right, videos analyzing the case. Removed. Backhand index pointing right, keywords. Suddenly restricted. And not gradually, instantly. In the digital age, deletion often speaks louder than publication. Because people began asking, if nothing is wrong, why erase everything? Instead of slowing down the conversation, backhand index pointing right, it did the opposite. People began reposting deleted content, archiving discussions, sharing screenshots across multiple platforms. The result? The story became unstoppable. At this point, the case crossed a dangerous line. It wasn't just about Yu Menglong anymore. It became about belief versus doubt. Two sides emerged. Side A. Wait for official confirmation. Don't spread rumors. After all the leaks, all the timelines, all the disappearing content, one question refuses to go away. What actually happened in those missing hours? 'Cause that backhand index pointing right is where the truth likely lives. Backhand index pointing right, and where the mystery becomes the darkest. Side B. Too many inconsistencies. Something is being hidden. And the gap between them, wider than ever. The case of Yu Menglong has now entered its most explosive phase. No more vague clues. No more surface-level speculation. Backhand index pointing right, this is where names start appearing. Backhand index pointing right, this is where alleged insiders speak. Backhand index pointing right. This is where the narrative takes a dangerous turn. Let's go straight to what has everyone on edge. Anonymous accounts claiming to be industry insiders began posting what they describe as what really happened. These posts don't last long before disappearing, but screenshots spread instantly. Collision. The core claims. There were serious internal conflicts before his disappearance. Menglong was allegedly under immense professional pressure. A sensitive issue had reportedly escalated shortly before everything went silent. Warning: why this matters. These aren't random fans anymore. Backhand index pointing right. These are people claiming proximity to the industry. Backhand index pointing right. People suggesting this goes beyond a personal situation. And that changes the entire scale of the case. One of the most chilling developments. Backhand index pointing right. The idea that certain individuals or groups are being deliberately avoided in discussions. Some posts hint at high-level connections, influential figures within the entertainment space, individuals allegedly linked to the final days before the incident. But here's the strange part. Names appear, then vanish. Users report. Mentions getting censored instantly. Comments edited or deleted within seconds. Entire accounts disappearing after posting. A dangerous narrative is forming. There are names people are afraid to say out loud. Investigators online have focused heavily on Menglong's last known contacts. What's raising suspicion? Reports of last-minute meetings. Alleged calls made shortly before his disappearance. Conflicting accounts of who saw him last. The key issue: no clear, consistent timeline of his final interactions. And in cases like this, that's where the truth usually hides. Among all the speculation, one theory has gained massive traction. Not because it's proven, but because it connects too many dots. Menglong may have been caught in a situation involving professional pressure, sensitive information, and a conflict that escalated beyond control. It explains the sudden silence. It explains the alleged inconsistencies. It explains the reported censorship. There is no official confirmation. Much of this remains unverified speculation. The theory refuses to die. Something unusual is happening. Even those discussing the case are starting to hold back. Eyes observations. Creators using coded language. Videos being taken down shortly after upload. Influencers refusing to mention specific details. Speech balloon. One viral comment summed it up. It's not that people don't know. It's that people are scared to say. What started locally has now gone international. And that changes everything. Backhand index pointing right. Information is being shared across platforms. Backhand index pointing right. Discussions are happening in multiple languages. Backhand index pointing right. Content is being mirrored and archived globally. Meaning, even if content disappears in one place, survives somewhere else. At this stage, the situation has reached a critical point. It's no longer just curiosity. Backhand index pointing right. It's distrust. Backhand index pointing right. It's frustration. Backhand index pointing right. It's a demand for clarity. People are no longer asking if something is wrong. They're asking, how deep does this go? After all the insider claims, the missing timeline, the disappearing names, one terrifying possibility is being whispered across the internet. What if the truth is bigger than just one person? At this stage, the case of Menglong reaches its most critical turning point. 'Cause now, backhand index pointing right. The evidence is being questioned. Backhand index pointing right. The viral theories are starting to crack. Backhand index pointing right. And a new possibility is emerging. What if everything people believed isn't entirely true? Let's go straight to the parts shaking the narrative. As more eyes examined the case, something unexpected happened. People began noticing inconsistencies in the inconsistencies. Triangular flag key contradictions. Different leaked timelines don't match each other. Some screenshots appear altered or cropped. Alleged insider stories conflict on major details. Collision. What this means. Backhand index pointing right. Not all viral evidence can be trusted. Backhand index pointing right. Some information may have been misinterpreted or manipulated. And suddenly, the question shifts from, what are they hiding? What have we been getting wrong? This is where things get messy. In a case moving this fast, information spreads before verification. Some chat logs may be fabricated. Old content may have been taken out of context. Edits and reposts may have changed the original meaning. Once something goes viral, it's almost impossible to pull it back. A powerful new idea is gaining traction. Millions of people may have unintentionally built a narrative from incomplete pieces. Magnifying glass tilted left. How this could happen. Emotional reactions filling in missing gaps. Assumptions turning into facts. A repetition making speculation feel like truth. Backhand index pointing right. A story that feels real, but may not be fully accurate. And that realization is shaking everything. There's a noticeable change in tone. Before, something is being hidden. Expose the truth. Wait, what's actually confirmed? Which sources are reliable? The movement is evolving from outrage to investigation. And that's a completely different kind of pressure. Some users are now asking a deeper, more unsettling question. What if false information was intentionally spread? Conflicting leaks could be deliberate. A noise could be used to bury real facts. Confusion could weaken the demand for truth. Warning. Important reality. Backhand index pointing right. There is no confirmed proof of this. Backhand index pointing right, but the level of confusion has made people consider it. Despite everything, one thing hasn't changed. Backhand index pointing right. No clear, detailed, universally accepted explanation. And that silence. It's still the loudest element of all. This is where the entire case stands right now. Collision. Two competing realities. Reality A. Something serious happened, and the truth is being hidden. Reality B. The internet built a powerful narrative from incomplete or flawed information. And here's the truth. Backhand index pointing right now. No one can fully prove either side. The question has evolved again. It's no longer, what happened to you, Menglong? It's now, what is actually real in everything we've seen? The case of Yu Menglong has reached a decisive phase. This is no longer a slow-building controversy. It is a sustained high-pressure situation where expectations are clear, provide answers or face a lasting credibility gap. What began as scattered online concern has evolved into coordinated, persistent scrutiny. Key developments. A continuous reposting and archiving of disputed content. Organized campaigns demanding clarification. A growing attention from international audiences. This is no longer driven by momentary outrage. It is being maintained over time, which makes it harder to diffuse. The discussion has moved beyond any single platform or region. Implications. A content removed in one place reappears elsewhere. Narratives are being shaped across multiple languages and communities. An independent analysis continues outside original information channels. The result is a decentralized flow of information that cannot be easily controlled or paused. At this stage, the absence of clear, detailed communication is no longer neutral. It is being interpreted in different ways by different groups. Public expectations now focus on three things. A consistent and verifiable timeline. A clarification of disputed or conflicting claims. Direct responses to the most widely circulated questions. The longer these expectations remain unmet, the more interpretations fill the gap. The situation has polarized into two dominant perspectives. Position 1. There are unresolved inconsistencies that require transparency and further explanation. Position 2. The online narrative may have been amplified by speculation, incomplete data, or misinterpretation. Both positions are now firmly established, and neither is diminishing. Attention is shifting away from individual claims toward the reliability of the overall information environment. Current concerns include the authenticity of widely shared screenshots and leaks, the possibility of altered or incomplete materials, the speed at which unverified claims became accepted narratives. This creates a secondary problem. Even accurate information may now be met with skepticism. A key concern emerging from observers is not just what happened, but whether a clear and widely accepted account can still be established. Challenges. Conflicting versions of events are already deeply embedded. Some original content may no longer be accessible. Public confidence in available information has been weakened. This raises a difficult possibility. Resolution may not fully restore consensus. Outcome A. Clarification and stabilization. A detailed, coherent account is provided that addresses major inconsistencies and aligns key facts. Potential impact. A partial restoration of public trust. A reduction in speculation. A more stable, widely accepted narrative. Outcome B. Prolonged ambiguity. No sufficiently detailed or widely trusted explanation emerges. Potential impact. A continued speculation and reinterpretation. Ongoing division in public opinion. The case becoming a long-term unresolved reference point. The focus has shifted from reconstructing events to evaluating certainty itself. What information can still be verified, and what has already been irreversibly shaped by speculation. At this moment, public attention remains high. Interpretations remain divided. Key questions remain unanswered. This is the point where outcomes begin to take shape, even if no formal conclusion has been announced.